Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to come and give you all an update on what is going on with Jeremiah right now. Um, I picked him up from the hospital this past Friday. He seemed to me to be doing better when he was released. This weekend was pretty good. They increased the amount of the medication that he's currently taking, and for the most part he seemed to me again like he was back on track, back to being his old happy self again. Yesterday at school went really good for him, so that was a good thing. But this morning he is kind of not acting like himself. I had asked him to take out the trash before he went to school this morning. Now, when I first asked him, he did what I was telling him to do without any problem. And then I said, well, son, you need to go and also get the trash cans in the bathrooms and empty those as well. And, he was like, now, what you want now? This is how he was talking to me. What do you want now? And then I repeated to him, I need for you to take the garbage out of the bathrooms. So instead of him going and emptying the garbage all at once, like he made 3 trips to the trash can to take out the garbage. And then he came back in the house and he was like doing me like that, like, what's up to me? And I just stood there and looked at him, and he kept asking me in a crazy voice and tone, like, what you doing? What you over there doing? And he was carrying around my fiance's back scratcher. And so I'm just kind of watching him or whatever, and I didn't reply to him. And I said, son, I need for you to put some clean bags in the garbage cans. And he was like, now, wait a minute now. And what you doing? He kept on repeating that. Well, a few minutes later, a little boy answered the door, and I was in there washing dishes, and I asked Jeremiah, I said, well, who is that at the door? He said, that's the devil knocking. That's the devil knocking. And I'm like, okay. I said, Jeremiah, answer the door. And it was this little boy. He just wanted to know where the bus stop was. He must be new to the neighborhood and everything. And so I told him where to go to catch his bus. And, Jeremiah he put on his Santa Claus hat. Then he couldn't find his coat. Then he picked up the wrong book bag to carry to school today. I'm like, wow, okay, please God, don't let him be relapsing again. It kind of just like worries me when he's in that state of mind, because you do not know what direction they may take in the way that he was talking to me and holding the back scratcher. I don't know, if he would have hit me with it or not. It was just the way that he was carrying it. And I'm glad that I was in the kitchen, because I'm like, please don't let him attack me, because if so, then I was ready and prepared to defend myself against him. And, because he kept looking down at the knife like, well, what are you going to do with that? He never did say anything, but he was looking at it right strange. He did ask, what you got that for? What are you doing with that? Like kind of like talking to me like I was his child instead of me being his mom. Lord, I can't wait for him to get back to the Jeremiah that I know. This Jeremiah is very, very different than what I'm accustomed to when dealing with Jay. I'm like, wow, really? And then after the little boy knocked on the door, he went outside, and I was like, Jeremiah, you need to put on a heavier coat. It is cold out there this morning, because he only had on a jacket. And we went and started searching for his coat. And I mean, he decided that he wanted to wear his Santa Claus hat, those types of things that he wouldn't normally do. One thing that he has been doing since he came home from the hospital is like he'll open up water bottles. He'll drink the water, but instead of throwing them in the trash can, he's been putting them into his nightstand in a drawer. It's like he really still has this fixation on his yearbooks. Like he's still doing a lot of stemming type things. Like he'll be uh, doing like circular motions with both of his arms at the same time. And I'm talking about really hard, where you can actually hear the wind coming up off of his arms. He'll have the TV on. He'll have his DVD player on. All this stuff is going at the same time. Um, he'll still like mumble little stuff to himself. Um, but if he notices that you're watching him or listening, like he'll quit. Last night I was in the bathroom doing my hair, and I heard him like just making noise in the bedroom. And I just stood at the door and listened like the very first time, and then I heard it again, so I went back and just listened at the door for a while. And then I opened up the door, and that's what he was in there doing, like windmilling style, his arms really, really fast. He'll start sweating. Then another thing he does too, he has some body spray, and it smells like he done sprayed the whole bottle. Like it just overpowers you with how much that he sprays of it. He had been spraying that in his head. He cut his hair Sunday night. He asked me when could he go get a haircut, and I told him, I said, well, Tuesday. And I looked back around, and he's in the bathroom. Then he coming out of the bathroom by that point. He done shaved his head, pretty much bald. Um, you know, I was like, well, Jeremiah told you that, that they would be open on Tuesday. Well, he didn't want to wait. He said his head was itching. He kept on like putting water in his hair. Um, Different things. I think he put some of that body spray in his actual hair. Um, he didn't ask me where the shampoo or anything like that was. He just was putting anything pretty much in his hair. And so, like, I had told him earlier before he actually cut his hair, I said, well, I'll wash it in a few minutes. I was just finishing up doing something. And I said, I'll wash your hair in a few minutes. Just quit putting that water in your head. And like I said, when I saw him again, he didn't cut it all off. So um, at first, I helped him to trim off the patches that he missed in the back of his head. And I said, are you wanting the hair off your face too? And he was like, no, I want to keep that. Well, I didn't know or notice until yesterday morning that I didn't notice that yesterday afternoon, I'm sorry, that he had actually gone on. And at some point yesterday morning, went in the bathroom and cut all the hair off his face. So, yeah, everything is shaved clean right now, Jeremiah. Um, but this morning was even more dramatic than him even cutting his hair. I mean, he was still pretty much, acting like himself, like he wasn't acting like anything but was wrong. But when he said that was the devil at the door, and asking me what I'm holding, what you doing, like looking at me when I was washing the dishes, and I had several knives or whatever, putting them away. I was just putting away the dishes is what I was doing. And I looked at him and I said, well, what are you doing? He just kind of looked at me, and then after he said that about the devil or whatever, then he's like, I love you, mama. Have a good day. And I'm like, really? Y'all, this bipolar stuff, this autism stuff, this has not been nothing easy to go through. But I do want to say that I thank God for being right by my side through all of this stuff going on. Jeremiah is supposed to get another worker, so that way when Ben is at work, he didn't have to worry about me and Jeremiah being in here by ourselves, or Jeremiah doing something to me when nobody else is around. So there's a little bit of added peace and comfort, but I do still think that I should go ahead and send him somewhere for about 30 days so he can get intense counseling and those kind of things. He'll have somebody that is neutral to the situation and will listen and make suggestions about how to better cope with things with Jeremiah. And I think that would be very positive for him. I know school is about to be out for Easter break, and I know that, kids with autism, they really do not like a change in their routine. So adding another worker to work with Jeremiah during the break and all that kind of stuff will be a good plus for him. I think we're on a waiting list right now to get him into a 30-day program for people that are 18 years old and up. During the time when he was in the hospital, like when we first got him there, he told the lady that he worked at McDonald's, and then when I asked him about where he worked at, when I finally saw him after they had did the intake paperwork on him, he proceeded to tell me that he worked in the bakery. And I asked him, I said, well, Jeremiah, what do you do in the bakery? He said, well, I make breakfast sandwiches for the people, Mama. I said, okay. And so a few minutes later, I asked him again, and he was like, I work at the bakery, and I make breakfast sandwiches for the people at the grocery store. And I said, oh, okay. And we both just like kind of fell out laughing about that. He really has a vivid imagination. But like I said, he seemed more calm today. I hope that as the day goes on that he remained calm, but I mean, he just wasn't the same Jeremiah. Like I said, for a minute there, he was always gone talking about what you doing and holding up this back scratcher like he wanted to hit me or something. He never did come up close to me, but it was just that look on his face. You know how a parent give a look and they be like, yeah, I done told you one time, try it again, you gonna get it. You gonna get it. That kind of look is what he did to me this morning. And I'm standing up there looking at him like, boy, you done lost your mind again. But anyhow, and then he said that was the devil at the door about the little boy knocking. So that was the unusual thing about him this morning. But I mean, I really do appreciate you all's prayers. Please continue to pray. At least right now he's actually sleeping. Before going to the hospital, he was not sleeping whatsoever, and that would be after taking his medication. Something that should have knocked him right off of his feet. But it just goes to show that the mind is a very, very, very powerful thing. He is like fixated on writing the word fake, Fake, and or fate. And he keeps on writing that on construction paper, like in black letters, that kind of deal. And then before we went to the hospital that Friday night, he kept on opening up water bottles. And Quentin said he told him, the people said they want some water, but I can't drink none. And Quentin asked him why. He said, because God said I can't drink no water, but the people can drink some water. So I'm getting the people some water. Like he sat there literally and opened up 6 of my water bottles. And Quentin didn't tell me that he actually had set this stuff up and lined it up beside of his bed. But Monday, I go in his room and, I found an empty water bottle in the nightstand. And then I see these, that was Sunday night. And then I see these 6 bottles with the tops off of each bottle open on the other side of the nightstand. So it was like he had it in a little nook in the corner. And I didn't look there in the beginning. And I look in there over there after a while, and I'm like, really? So Quentin said, you didn't know that? I said, no, I didn't know he hid it right there. I thought, he finally drunk it, whatever. But there were the 6 caps, and there were 6 bottles of water, full bottles of water. So I put the top back on the water, and I was like, okay, well, I'll put them in the refrigerator for him. That way, the water is not wasted, and and I think he's pretty much drank all those right now. But he even had told me, he couldn't drink no water. He told me that he couldn't eat no food here at the house. That he can only eat real food at school, but at home he have to eat plastic food. So each time that Jeremiah experiences something like this, y'all, he is something very, very different. And I think that's the hardest part of it. Like, you don't know if he's going to be violent. You don't know if he's going to regress and, and can't walk, or I can't make it to the bathroom, those kind of things. It is so different every single time. None of these incidences have been exactly the same pattern. So I think that's what makes it really hard for you or me as his mom, is because I don't know which way he's gonna go next with it. But again, I just wanted to give you all an update and to say thank you guys for the prayers and support during this difficult time. I hope that Easter I will be able to get out of the house, and hopefully he is more stabilized. But when he's like that, I'd rather not go out in public, because people don't understand what it is that you're really dealing with. And, so until I get him stabilized, I pretty much will be a homebody. And until we get him some kind of placement and the extra supports in place, hopefully the extra supports will be done by the end of this week. And we'll hear something soon about him doing a 30-day program. And it's hard to even imagine having to give up your child. But at the same time, I know that I got to do what I got to do. And I got to do what is going to be best for Jeremiah. I have prayed about this thing. I have cried about it. It's heartbreaking. It really, really is. And there are not a lot of people. I'm not very social myself. I'm very much so an introverted person, so I'm already naturally just a homebody anyway. But then to deal with those kind of issues, it kind of even isolates you even more. So yeah, I have wrote numerous prayers, cried many a nights, not getting no sleep. If he's not asleep, you can't sleep. Because you don't want them to harm themselves. You don't want them to harm you or anybody else. And so it takes a mental and a physical toll on you when they are in that kind of mind frame. So again, thank you all and have a great Tuesday. I'll keep you updated, and as we go along this whole process, Autism Awareness Month is next month, and so hopefully I'll get to do a little bit more sharing with you all about what it is we deal with, because it's definitely a trying thing to deal with sickle cell anemia, and then to have to deal with a child that has autism and bipolar disorder and panic attacks and depression issues. None of it is easy, trust me, but by the grace of God, I just thank God that we can touch the hem of his garment. And no matter what that what we're touching him for. God already knows what our call is. He knows what our cry and our heart's desire is. And, I do believe that and agree that Jeremiah will come out better than he went in, and be an inspiration to somebody else that may be dealing with those kinds of issues that he has. And hopefully, with the issues that I have, by sharing this stuff, and not keeping it to myself so much, I really do hope that it's helpful information to somebody. We first went for help at Gaston Memorial or Caramont, and then I just finally thought after Wednesday night, now we're not going back to Caramont for them to send him back home, and he's getting worse by the day. And then they said, well, maybe Kings Mountain, but you may run into that same issue. And I was like, no, we're going to Charlotte, to the behavioral health hospital, and they see every age group. So if you're looking for help and you're not getting any kind of help through Gaston Memorial or getting any kind of help through Kings Mountain Hospital, then you do have the option to go to Charlotte. And I'm so glad that that's where we went, to try to get him back on track. Again, you all have a great day. Thank you for letting me share a little bit of my life with you all, and I'll update you soon on what is really going on with Jeremiah at the moment, and hopefully it'll be better news than what we've had the last 2 weeks. So I'll see you guys later.